Great. My name is Scott Tillman. I am the National Field Director with U.S.Term, and I'm here today with Chuck Gray, who's a candidate for Congress. Chuck, why don't you tell us a little bit about where you're at and what you're running for, or what seat you're running for? I guess we know what you're running for, but what seat you're running for, and then tell us why you support term limits.
Thanks, Scott. I'm a candidate for the at-large congressional district here in Wyoming, running against Liz Cheney. Liz Cheney has really failed us in Wyoming with the impeachment vote, going along with Nancy Pelosi's narrative time and time again. She doesn't represent us. She doesn't live here. So I'm running for the at-large congressional district in Wyoming. I've been a state legislator now for 2 terms in my 3rd term, and have worked on term limits in the state legislature, have brought the term limits constitutional amendment now 3 times. We haven't been able to get it across the finish line, but the voters in 1992 in Wyoming were very clear, 75%, very clear support for term limits when that was brought forward, and that referendum was struck down by the Wyoming Supreme Court. So that's why now we're going with the constitutional amendment route for state legislators. So, I've shown in the state legislature that on term limits, that I don't just talk the talk, that I walk the walk on term limits, and I really believe in them. So I'm proud to sign this pledge today. We need to drain the swamp. President Trump has done a great job on this. We need to drain the swamp, and that's what this is about, because entrenched politicians like Liz Cheney are the problem. So really excited to sign this today. Huge supporter of term limits, and I've worked on it and want to continue working on it in the Congress and get it across the finish line.
Well, term limits is a very important issue. 80% of the public supports it, and with recent issues, we know that term limits actually increases voter turnout. So this is one thing that we can do that will actually help increase voter turnout, because what it does is it gets more people out in the field talking to voters, people who are running for office, and then we get more civic engagement and other things like that. And it's great that we have someone like Chuck who's here, who's led on this issue in the past and now wants to go to Congress and be a leader on this issue. And we want to thank you for signing the U.S.Term pledge to support the 3-2 U.S.Term amendment. That's 3 House terms and 2 Senate terms. Not a self-limit, but a limit on Congress as an amendment when we pass it and get it out and sent to the states and ratified. Term limits is overwhelmingly popular, and it's just a matter of getting people in office who are responsive and actually want to do the will of the voters. And Chuck, by signing this pledge and committing to that and putting your pen to paper, you're taking a step above and beyond to show that you are committed to voters and voters can trust you on this issue.
Thank you, Scott. And we need a member of Congress in Wyoming that represents Wyoming values, and that certainly is in line with term limits. And like I said, I've worked on it in the past and continue to want to get this across the finish line in the future. So going to be signing it right now.
Great. And for those of you watching, you'll be able to find this on, I'm sure, on Chuck's website, but then also at termlimits.com. You'll be able to find a copy of the pledge that Chuck is signing there. And it's a pledge to support a constitutional amendment for term limits on Congress, 3 House terms and 2 Senate terms, and no longer limit.
Thank you, Scott. Sign the pledge, and look forward to getting this across the finish line.
So very good. Thank you very much for your time today.
Thanks, Scott.